So, America Party, you joining?
Dude, the America Party, 80% of the respondents on his Twitter poll, which his I hate when Republicans try to like act like his Twitter polls are like scientific and like legit polls. Who knows how many bots are in that? But he said that 80% of the people said yes. So we have an America Party, I guess.
Okay.
Um, I don't know who's going to be in the America Party, but it's the best thing that could happen if you're a Democrat is possibly like a small, even if it's only a tiny little bit, if some people leave the Republican camp and go to the America Party, that helps in general elections.
Yeah, yeah. What was that other party that was trying to break off from the Democratic Party?
So
The
no labels was the big one that was trying to go in this last election, the no labels
Okay.
party, and they apparently are already contacting Elon, and they're like, hey, like all we needed was a money
Oh.
guy, like, but they
Well,
the
no,
thing is,
who was the Asian guy that was running for in
oh,
the Democratic?
Andrew Yang,
Yang.
I think he was just running as an independent.
But then he started his own party.
I don't remember that.
Okay. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, if he did, it obviously didn't do very well. Because
No.
he ran for mayor of New York most recently, I think, right?
Okay. Did he really?
I think so. That was a couple years ago.
The Forward Party,
The forward part. That kind of does ring a bell. It clearly
2021.
it clearly did not move forward, but
No, not from Forward at
anyhow.
all.
All right, so I don't want to spend the whole episode on this, but we got to wrap up the Elon and Trump spat. It's not a fight. We'll call it a spat. First video. I just want to
No, it's
play.
a fight. This is a
It
blow. I
is,
mean, he
yeah.
told Elon Musk basically called Trump a child pedophile. So
Okay.
that's that's a war.
Yeah, it's a one-sided war. Elon's throwing haymakers, and like surprisingly, I gotta give Trump credit. Like Trump is not punched back yet. Like if there's one thing that we know about Donald Trump is if you punch him, he's gonna punch back harder. He's not. Like
Oh,
the people around him are controlling him. Now, we'll talk about it later. He is getting little shots in, but they're strategic and smiling shots. But we'll get to that in a minute. Real quick, this video just made me giggle. There's a thing yesterday where the left was happier than the left has been in years. Like all across social media, the left was loving everything happening yesterday. And I feel like this one video demonstrates it perfectly.
dude, you called me yesterday and you were so ecstatic.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, it was a good day to be a Democrat. And we're not going to get that many of those over the next 3.5 years. So when they come, let's enjoy them, okay?
Okay.
All right, check this out.
Any quick reaction on what's going on with Elon Musk and President Trump on Twitter right now?
Oh man, the girls are fighting, aren't they? I would say that this was something that was a long time coming.
Her smile right there, like you could see the genuine happiness. Like she was excited to see a camera and had that loaded and ready to go. So her just little smirk while saying that, I think, is the encapsulation. I can't say that word of all the Democrats across the country yesterday and how they were feeling. Uh,
Yeah, they're pretty stoked. It's a
yeah,
pretty good day when Elon and Trump are fighting, when the two people who are worse for our country are actually going at
yeah.
each other at this point.
Now, you'll be shocked to find out that if you were watching right wing media yesterday, you didn't hear the full story, I'll say. And I watched it last night for a good period of time. I just watched Fox News. Like, I was just curious to see what they were saying. They all did talk about it. Now, in real news, they have blocks: the A block, the B block, the C block, and D or E is where it normally ends. But each between commercial breaks, that's a block. And like your biggest story is your A block right out the gate. Um,
Okay.
the A block all across the news last night was this Twitter feud, Twitter fight, whatever we want to call it. Fox did not use this as their A block. On almost every show they talked about it, but it was later. It was like the C or D block. I just as a prime example, here's how Hannity started last night.
But we begin tonight with a flurry of activity today at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And yes, let not your heart be troubled. I will address the battle between President Trump and Elon Musk. I know it's of such great international importance. But first, there is fresh scrutiny surrounding Joe Biden and a hardworking auto pen. Take a look.
So
This is the cover up. This is what they're trying
Hannity
to.
spent the first 20 minutes of his show last night talking about Biden and his auto pen, which that's been a thing on the on the right for the past month. Nothing new happened yesterday, but he was just like, okay, how do I avoid leading with this? Let's figure out what Biden did recently. So Most shows last night started with what Biden has done recently. So
And Trump uses the auto pen all the time.
he said he's used it before, but he doesn't use it for major legislation. There's nothing. I'll say this: there is nothing illegal about using AutoPen. They're allowed to do it. Now, I would like to think if it's major legislation, that's the ones where they normally have like a little press conference and they sign the bill in front of everybody. So I'd like to think that most of Biden's major legislation was done that way, but I can't remember. I wasn't paying attention. So maybe they used AutoPen on big things. Either way, that's not illegal. The argument they're trying to make is that Biden was totally unaware of things that were getting signed and people weren't telling him. If you can prove that, then bring it. But if you can't prove that and it's just, oh, it looks like he used AutoPen, yeah. W. Bush is the first one who started using AutoPen. Obama used it. Trump used it in his first term. He said on nothing major. It gets used. It's not illegal. So I'm tired of that BS. But let's talk about how good the commander in chief is acting right now. And it's key that we say right now, because I still think we don't make it through the weekend without him taking some shots online. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's being a grown up. He's taking the high road.
No, that's never going to happen.
It's impressive so far. The fact that he didn't wake up this morning and start truthing at Elon, that you got to admit, you didn't see that coming. You have to give him some props on that.
What is he? Does he have anything on Elon?
That's the question. Is he being the bigger person, or does Elon know things and Trump doesn't want to piss him off, so Trump's not responding?
I think that might be the case. I think that man. See, so Trump has some leverage because he could, and he's threatened to deport Elon, right?
Mhm.
I guess somebody in his administration.
Steve Bannon did. We're going to get to that in a minute. Steve Bannon's talking about that. Yeah.
So he has that, and he can defund his businesses through the government.
Trump is definitely holding most of the cards in this battle. Like, as far as like, could one of them ruin the other? Like, I think Trump has a better advantage at if he was going to just try to destroy Elon Musk. Elon has Twitter. That's really what Elon has. He's got Twitter. And there was a congressman, and this is 50 years ago, but there's an old saying that says you never get into an argument with someone who buys ink by the barrel. Something along those lines.
I've got it.
Okay.
Elon has Trump's tax returns.
He might. But again, even if Trump didn't pay any taxes, he's just going to say that's because I was smart and it's not going to hurt him.
Look, okay, maybe not tax returns. He's got his information on who he's getting his money from,
who he owes money to,
who he owes money to, and who's putting money into his companies right now. Into his, I mean, Trump's been transparent with that though, right? Like, hey, 200 people come to my gala if you buy, my coin.
We need a little sound effect that we can hit every time we go into a Blue Anon conspiracy, because I feel like I'm going to label that it's a Blue Anon conspiracy. So, but the old adage, I'm going to go back to it. Never get in an argument with someone who owns or who buys ink by the barrel. That used to mean like someone who has a lot of power, who, the owner of a newspaper, for example.
Yeah.
Elon is that guy. Like Elon, when Elon made the jump onto the Trump train, suddenly, remember the algorithm on Twitter became like very right wing, like very pro Trump. Like Elon has that set up that way. What if right now suddenly that shifts and it becomes less pro Trump and more anti Trump? Like he controls that. That's all Elon really has. Whereas Trump, we're going to get into all the different ways that Trump could go after Elon in a couple different ways. And the thing is, the left isn't going to stand up for Elon, and the right seems to be all on Trump's side right now. So there's a very small sliver that are on Elon's side and would throw a fit if Elon gets screwed here. It's a small percentage. I don't know what it is, true, but it's not big.
What do you think Elon has on? Do you think it's like Jeffrey Epstein?
No, it's not Epstein, because I think that he threw that one out early. He's on drugs, so who knows if he's thinking rationally. But you wouldn't throw out your best. You wouldn't throw out your best thing right off the bat. You throw that out to people thinking, "Whoa, look at this big bomb!" But you would think he has something else in reserve if he's thinking rationally, which we can't assume he is.
Trump's kind of going with, "Oh, Elon's crazy. I helped him out. Like he's, I took Elon under my wing and like showed him the ropes around Washington, and I gave him these he's kind of playing that card now.
We're going to go through all the ways that Trump is smiling, but also throwing daggers. First thing, This was this morning on Fox News. Trump talked to a lot of reporters today, but he did it all like not recorded and not on video. Here's Fox News talking about his interaction with Brett Baier.
We bring you some breaking news, this time from Brett Baier, who just spoke to President Trump on the phone. He reflected on Elon Musk, and here's what Brett learned in that phone call. Trump is not interested in talking to Elon. Trump is not worried about threats of a third party. Now, that comes because Elon Musk tweeted this. He put up a poll and he said, it is time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle. He asked that as a question of his followers. So he asked about a potential third party. President Trump says he's not worried to Brett Baier. President Trump also pointed to his favorable polls and his strong support among Capitol Hill Republicans. Noteworthy, Elon Musk called for constituents to call congressmen and women. Whether those calls have materialized, I've seen reports that they have not. Would also note, underscoring President Trump's point, he's ahead in the Real Clear Politics average of Obama and Bush at this point in the second term. And finally, a direct quote from Brett Baier from President Trump. The quote from President Trump is this: Elon has totally lost it. So more on that feud as the day progresses. But for now, Fox.
So you know what? That's the original Ice Queen, and
dude, that's Kayleigh McEnany. She's on Fox all the time now.
Still don't like her.
So anyhow, that was the first report I saw of a reporter talking to Trump today. Apparently, he did talk to Jonathan Karl at he's from ABC at 6 a.m. this morning. But I saw that this morning, and right there, did it seem like Trump was kind of taking any shots? Like he said. At the end, he said that, what did he say? He's gone crazy or he doesn't know what happened to him or something along those lines.
Right, yeah.
But no real shots there. Throughout the day, he talked to Jonathan Karl first. Then he talked to Brett Baier with Fox. Then he talked to Robert Costa with CBS. And then late this afternoon, he talked to Dana Bash with CNN. We're going to play that in a second. But let me ask you this. Have you ever been in an argument or trying to get in an argument with somebody? Or maybe you've just seen this happen. But have you ever seen when somebody's really pissed and they're trying to get in an argument and the person they're mad at just will not engage? Like they just, like if you're texting or emailing and you're mad and they're just blowing you off, it is enraging. Like that used to be.
I've been there,
dude. I used to work in customer service. I worked behind a counter of a retail store, and like my employees, I had a very good ability to do that. Where somebody'd come in and they'd be pissed about something that happened, and they're trying to yell at me, and I could just smile at them and be like, "Well, I'm sorry, sir." And the more they would try to get me to get mad back, and I wouldn't, you could see smoke coming out of their ears, like they were about to burst. They were so mad, and they couldn't get me to get angry too. So I love that, and I feel like that's Trump's response right now. Like he's doing a bless your heart, bless his heart. You know, I'll pray for you, Elon. Like he's doing that kind of thing. As further evidence, here's Dana Bash talking about this a lot quicker. But Dana Bash talking about her talk with Trump this afternoon.
Joining us now, someone who just got off the phone with the president. CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash joins us now by phone. Dana, what did he tell you?
Good morning, John. Well, he said that he's, quote, well, here's exactly what he said, quote, I'm not even thinking about Elon. He's got a problem. The poor guy's got a problem. He said he won't be speaking to him for a while, but he said he wishes Elon Musk well.
So great.
I'm not even thinking about him. The poor guy's got a problem. I wish him well. Like, if you're trying to get Trump to engage with you online and you're trying to get him to drop to your level, and he's shooting back through the media with, bless his heart, I hope he gets better. Like, I'm worried about the poor guy. Like, that's got to have Elon fuming. I could be wrong.
That's a good strategy. That's a great strategy. And we've never seen this from Trump, right?
I'm telling you, we have to give props to Trump right now. You got to say right now, because again, if we get to Monday and Trump is still playing it this way, then I will give a round of applause for the maturity of Donald Trump, because I didn't think he had this level of maturity in him. I really didn't. And I don't think he came up with this strategy. I think a lot of people near him probably convinced him. No. Let us coordinate your response back. Let's make you look like the bigger guy. It probably took a lot of convincing. He probably kept going, no. Give me my phone right now. I want to tweet. But
okay,
I'm speculating. Maybe Trump is just really matured. At the ripe old age of 79, Trump
finally grew up.
Yeah, it could be. But say all that to say, can't take away from the fact that he is handling this way better than Elon right now, and he is winning this battle. The last night, it was yesterday afternoon, me and you talked, and we were like, who's going to win? How many people will go with Elon? How many will go with Trump? It's going to be like 95% with Trump. And like the people that are sticking with Elon are the people on Instagram. There's all these accounts that I think are bots. I can't prove it, but they have like names like Elon rocks 24/7 and like, and Elon retweets these random accounts all day long, and they get so excited when he does. But I've long wondered, like, are these people that work at SpaceX or Tesla? Like, who are these people? Are they bots?
Who has a handle that says Elon rocks? I mean, that's like
there's a lot of them. I'm telling you, like the Elon.
They got all be bots, right? It's probably he has a big group of bots that he just controls. And
like I said, I've always thought they're bots, but who knows? And there's one girl that's like rocket launch girl, blah blah blah, and I actually followed her for a while because I was sure she was a bot, and then she started posting videos of herself like talking about Elon. So maybe it was AI or maybe she's real. I don't know. Either way, from what I've seen today, everybody like. Cat Turd, for example. Cat Turd's another one that I follow that I just love because Trump has retweeted and like corresponded with Cat Turd on Twitter back in the day. But Cat Turd came out and basically said that like you can say you're against the deficit, you can say this, you can say that, but if you call Trump a pedophile, you've crossed the bridge, man. And basically went off, and then Elon responded by unfollowing Cat Turd, which like that was a headline at one point today. Elon Musk unfollows Cat Turd on Twitter. That's an amazing headline for this day and age. Anyhow, so I will say it appears that everyone in Trump world is trying to get a peace made. Like they were trying to arrange a phone call all day. There kept being reports that they were going to have a phone call. Trump said at one point that Elon wants to talk to me, but I don't want to talk to him. So making it seem like Elon's reaching out. I think people, remember the movie Parent Trap? I think they're trying to parent trap him. I think they're going each one going, hey, Donald wants to talk to you. Will you talk to him? Hey, Elon wants to talk to you. And they're trying to just get him on the phone. And apparently Trump has put his foot down. He's not talking to Elon. That's the official story coming from the White House.
Does Trump need Elon anymore? I mean, he already pushed him out. This is kind of what started it, was he pushed him out of the White House.
So not only does he need him anymore, or is this going to turn out to be a real convenient way to point the blame at everything in the big, beautiful bill and the fact that there's a deficit? And like this breakup makes it even easier to throw Elon under the bus and blame a lot. And the left hates Elon and the right is quickly turning on Elon. I'm not going to say they hate him yet, but they're primed to hate him. And if Trump starts throwing him under the bus, I think everybody's going to be real receptive to it. Van Jones was on CNN last night, and he said that right now you need to go in there and get all these little Doge kids that are running around, all the 22-year-old big balls and all them, and fire them, suspend them, get them out of there right now, and investigate what have they been doing. And that way, you could, if you're Trump, you could quickly go, oh wow, look, a lot of data went missing. Our data we can see that data was exported to hard drives. That was Elon, and there's a lot of bad headlines that he could quickly pin on Elon right now. Also, the Doge kids running around, I'm thinking about them as like sleeper cells, like terrorist sleeper cells. Hear me out. Who do they have allegiance to? Do they have allegiance to Elon or do they have allegiance to Trump? I don't know.
Elon.
I don't know the answer to that. You're confident. I don't know. Maybe they have more allegiance to Trump. But like right now, we have Doge 20-year-olds running around in almost every department that might be more loyal to Elon than to Trump.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's scary. Like that, if this escalates, what if things start breaking in our system for the government?
Well, the problem is all these kids have all of our information now.
They do.
But was it the Palantir thing a Trump thing? Didn't Trump want Palantir to create a system?
JD Vance is key in that because Peter Thiel, who invented JD Vance and funded his Senate run, and it's the whole reason that JD was on the presidential ticket was Peter Thiel, Elon, and Don Jr. They kind of all got together. So Peter Thiel is the one pushing Palantir. I think it seems like Elon is too, and then JD Vance is like he's their representative in the White House. Like if you're a tech bro, JD's there representing you. So anyhow, This is all good. It's gonna get fun. I only hope that because Elon still, as of tonight, is still tweeting all kinds of stuff. He's not tweeting direct attacks at Trump anymore, but he's just tweeting about the deficit, his America Party. But I think probably all the people that are trying to make peace got to Elon and they were like, hey, complain about the bill all you want, complain about the deficit, like stop taking shots at Trump personally. I'll bet that's the message he got.
Yeah.
And then you got Steve Bannon. Let's talk about Steve Bannon real quick because I like to pay attention to Steve Bannon. But I said yesterday that like I wonder if they could like kick him out of the country and confiscate SpaceX. Like I don't know if that's really possible, but I kind of speculated that. Steve Bannon's 3 steps ahead of me, buddy. Check this out. This is from his War Room podcast.
Doge was, for any fanboys that still exist, while you're wrapping up in your cape tonight, understand on Doge, he didn't find any fraud. There's plenty of fraud out there. This was President Trump's first complaint. Was this all BS, right, with the Doge? The act that President Trump should be taking immediately, I think, when he threatens to take one of the big programs out of SpaceX, President Trump tonight should sign an executive order calling for the Defense Production Act to be called in SpaceX and seize SpaceX tonight before midnight. The U.S. government should seize it. If a guy's going to sit there and start making quotes, also, as Stuart Stevens talked back in January, I don't know why we haven't had a full investigation. Look, if you're going to deport illegal aliens, you got to deport illegal aliens. The good go with the goose and the gander. They got to go back to this, as Stuart Stevens talked about, and go through everything about his immigration status. I happen to believe, given the facts that I've been shown, that he's an illegal alien, and illegal aliens got to be deported.
I absolutely 100% hate it when people, given the facts that I've been shown, will show me the facts that you've been shown, or don't say that at all. I can't stand it when people do that.
I have some facts to show you on that if you would like.
Oh, yeah.
This is a really quick clip. I hate to do back-to-back clips, but this is really quick. And this is Elon and his brother from a couple years ago. What is this? This is Elon and his brother at a press, some kind of a speaking engagement.
When they did fund us, they realized that we were illegal immigrants.
Well, I mean,
yes, we were.
I'd say it's a gray area.
Yeah, yes, we were. We were illegal immigrants.
Oh. Where's his brother? I didn't even know he had a brother.
Elon got uncomfortable there and was like, no, it was a gray area. And his brother was like, no, we were illegal. They were let me just say this. It appears there was a period of time where they were here on a visa that they overstayed, and they also should not have been working. They were not here on a work visa, and they were getting funded for his first couple companies while here illegally. So they have deported people in the last couple months. There was that dad from like Denmark, maybe, and that white dude from Denmark in like Alabama who's married and has 4 or 5 kids, and he missed one piece of paperwork like 8 years ago. He since has rectified it and all that, and I think he's not out of the country yet. He's in a prison somewhere, like an ICE facility. But
seriously,
but I'm just saying they've deported people for less than that. Like they're not going to do it. I'm going to say this: they're not going to do it, but they could. I mean, they've deported people for less is all I'm going to say. Now, I don't think it gets to that point. But if it did, would anybody on the left or right stand up for Elon and go, "This is wrong"?
No, he's gone. But yeah, he has too much money and too much invested in this country, I think.
Yeah, and now real quick on what Steve. I hate it when I agree with Loomer and Steve Bannon, but I got to say right now, like. I don't, this goes against a lot of what I stand for, but I don't disagree with the idea of the government seizing or buying, somehow taking over SpaceX. It's really weird that one guy, an private citizen, controls our ability to launch satellites. Like satellites are important for communication. SpaceX is also controlled by him. We saw in Ukraine where like they wanted to attack Crimea at one point and he didn't want them to, so he just shut off Starlink for that area and was like, nope, sorry, I can't do it. So we have one private citizen that if he gets mad at us, like we just can't launch new satellites, and satellites used for communication and tracking.
I didn't even think about that. Like we kind of rely on him for our national security.
100%. Like, and that's when he said last night, when Trump said maybe we'll cancel all of his government contracts, and he was like, okay, in light of this tweet, I'm going to start dismantling the Falcon 9. The Falcon 9, I saw a weird stat, 70% of the total weight of like satellites that are in space right now, Elon put in space.
So, okay, maybe this is good. Maybe we should stop shooting off satellites into space and leaving all the space junk up there.
What's weird, I wanted to blame Trump for the fact that Elon controls our space program, but really the blame falls on like the Obama administration. Yeah, that's when we started privatizing space and moved away from NASA. Gave Elon Obama. I didn't know this. Somebody said this today, but Obama and Elon were tight. Like they had a good relationship, and then Elon didn't really care much for Trump the first time around. Like he tried to kiss his ass, and Trump wasn't having it, and then Elon voted for Biden in 2020, but then Biden had a meeting at the White House of American auto manufacturers, and he did not invite Elon. And like,
oh no,
that was the moment that like things turned.
Oh no, what a oversight! Like,
yeah,
oh my gosh. Okay,
so all right,
I don't blame Elon for jumping over to the other side.
He went a little jumping on Trump train, but anyhow, like I said. I don't know if they should seize it. And apparently, like Bannon said they could use the Defense Production Act or something like that. And then I looked it up and like, oh yeah, they could like legally, they could do it. If it's a threat, if he suddenly was like, hey, I'm going to take my rockets and go to China, like I'm not going to be on you guys' side anymore, like they could step in and seize SpaceX in a heartbeat. So
interesting.
Don't think they're going to do it. It's just fun to think they could. But Bannon is all for seize SpaceX and kick him out of the country. You ready for my blue anon conspiracy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. If I could ask the White House one question right now, if I got to be in the new media seat in a briefing, my one question right now is, where is Katie Miller? Katie Miller is Stephen Miller's wife, okay? Remember Elon took her when he left? And then that's when the speculation was that Stephen Miller punched Elon in the eye. So Stephen Miller came out and said some stuff, like did a Fox News interview the other day, trying to calm all this down. And then Elon was shit tweeting him, like commenting on the post, and then unfollowed Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is pretty much spearheading this whole immigration crackdown. Like that's what he is doing. Okay. So you got Steve Bannon saying we should deport this guy. He's an illegal. He wasn't here the right way, blah, blah, blah. And then you have Stephen Miller, who's basically running that show. And Elon just ran off with his wife and is now shit talking your boss.
Okay.
Just saying.
She should come out and show her face.
I want to see what happens here. Like,
oh, well, I mean, hold on. Could you imagine being married to Stephen Miller? Like, I mean, she's probably looking for any way to get out. That Elon's crazy ass is just like, she's like jumping on. She's like, oh yeah, come on, Elon, take me with you. She's gonna get pregnant soon. She's gonna be pregnant.
He probably hit her with the, hey, let me impregnate you, and I'll give you $1 million a Tesla and this much money per month, whatever his standard contract is. That Ashley St. Clair, the conservative influencer who had the whole spat with him recently, she's the reason we know his standard like impregnation deal. She tweeted at Donald Trump and was like, hey Donald, if you need some breakup advice, give me a call, or said something like that having to do with Elon. I thought that was classic. Anyhow, I think that I'm going back to my blue anon conspiracy right now. This wasn't well thought out by Elon. He ran off with Stephen Miller's girl, and now we got Bannon calling for a deportation of Elon, and Stephen Miller's in charge of that. Maybe everything's fine. I don't. Maybe she, after all this blew up, maybe she's back in D.C. with her husband and everything's fine. I want to know. That's my one question: is where is Katie Miller? Is she still with? Is she with Elon in Texas right now, or is she in D.C. with Stephen?
Have you Googled it?
She's on Twitter, but she hasn't tweeted anything about all this. So,
yeah.
Her Twitter's pretty. Her Twitter's pretty much like Stephen Miller's. Once you see her Twitter, you understand how her and Stephen Miller are married. Like they think alike. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, so she's a racist.
You said it. I'm not going to disagree, but yeah, she's special. I'll say that.
Great.
Yeah. Anyhow, so the other funny thing, I think you saw this, but we're going to play it again for fun. But it just so happens that JD Vance was on Theo Von's podcast yesterday when all this was going down. So that podcast hasn't come out yet, but at one point, one of them tweeted a picture of the two of them sitting together on his little interview couch. And it says, hey, doing a pod today, anything happening in the world? Or said something like that, like clearly making a joke about what's going on with Elon and Trump. So I'm curious if they address it on the show. But also, as luck would have it, Kash Patel, the FBI director, was on Joe Rogan's podcast while this was happening in real time. We've got a clip from the moment that young Jamie alerts them as to what's going on. And I think it's quite hysterical.
This is going to come up because it's been going on since we've been recording here. Elon and Trump seem to be in a bit of a spat, Joe. You want to check the tweet that Elon just put out a little bit ago?
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation
What
between
is
Elon
Have a
and Trump.
nice day, DJT. Someone should take his phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things. And
yeah. Listen,
well, he said he was disappointed in Elon.
Yeah, he told him to leave.
Jesus Christ, that's a crazy thing to say. How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump-Elon thing. That's way outside my lane.
What the fuck are they doing?
I know my lane, and that ain't it.
I just don't. I mean, I understand he owns Twitter. I think it's bad for your mental health. I think posting things public all day and arguing with people all day is bad for you.
Well, you raise a great point. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Half of what we have to respond to is the click army on social media.
I have so many different points about that little clip with Joe. I'm going to save the biggest one for last. But at the very end there where he said, well, that's the problem is half of what we have to deal with is like stuff from the click army. Dude, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were part of the click army, and they were riling people up for the past several years. They've had all these conspiracy theories so they're now suffering from something they helped create. So I feel no sympathy there. Now, also, I have to say, I've never liked Kash Patel at all, but his response there of like, I'm not getting involved in this at all. Like, I know my lane and that ain't it, was the only time where I've ever kind of smirked and not hated Kash Patel, because he didn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No.
Which we're going to go down this road in a second, but like, he's been reviewing the Epstein files for the past couple months, and he was just on Fox with, I think, Maria Bartiromo, and it said, we've looked at everything, and if he's looked at everything and Trump is not anywhere in the Epstein files, it would have been real quick and easy for him to say that's ridiculous. He's not in there anywhere.
Didn't even say that.
Now,
they brought in a bunch of like right-wing podcasters or whatever, and they gave them a file, but it was a file that was actually released in 2011 with more redactions than previously released, right?
Exactly. And luckily, Charlie Kirk is the only one who's admitted this yet, which I hate Charlie Kirk, but I respect him for saying this. But he basically did a video yesterday where he's like, hey, newsflash, like, Trump's name's definitely somewhere in the Epstein files. Like, we know his name has been brought up in depositions. Virginia Guthrie, I think is her name. Guthrie. She's the main girl that started all this. She's the one who said Prince Andrew of England was assaulted her or whatever. Yeah. She worked at Mar-a-Lago for Trump, and Epstein used to come there all the time. And then at some point, she was just told by management, like, hey, you're going with Jeffrey now. Like, you're going to go work for him. Like, so, and then also Trump flew on his plane 7 times. They were friends. There's videos of them with young girls at parties. Like, he's definitely in there. That doesn't mean that he sexually assaulted a young girl or anything. I'm just saying his name's in there. So that's that.
Well, apparently the first time him and Melania had sex was on the
Lolita Express. I don't know if I don't know if you can prove that or not, but it's been
I keep hearing it from multiple sources.
You hear it from Kyle Kalinske, I'll bet. He says
maybe just him.
Yeah. You can't. We'll never be able to prove that, but it's a fun story. But
on a side note, how tall is Kash Patel?
Shorter than Rogan, it turns out. Dude,
did you see this image of him sitting in the chair?
I almost pulled that. I think it was on Fox. I don't know if it was Brett Baer. I almost pulled that, but he looks like a 4-year-old sitting in a tall chair, like his legs are just swinging. Are you talking about that one?
Yeah.
I almost pulled that, but I was like, I don't want to make fun of a man just for being short. He can't control that.
No, I don't want to make fun of him for being short, but he's tiny. Like, compared to Brett Baer, he is, and he says he's 5'9". I just looked it up. I was like, how tall is he? And he says he's 5'9".
Yeah. Can you share the screen with that image or not? Because we need to show the people now. There's no way that man's 5'9". And Fox News did him wrong by setting up the interview that way. Like, there was no need to have him sitting in that tall chair at all.
No.
There we go.
Yeah, look at his legs dangling. I mean, how tall is Brett Baer?
I don't think Brett Baer is extremely tall. That I thought for sure that was photoshopped when I first saw that, and then I went and found the video just to confirm. And no, that's not photoshopped. That's Kash Patel. It's like a little boy. It's like a little boy.
So Brett Baer's 5'11",
and Kash is supposedly 5'9". Bullshit.
Yeah.
So normally when Rogan does a podcast, he releases a picture of like the two people sitting there together, standing side by side. Let me see if we have one of those. Joe Rogan.
Well, when they were going back and forth, I was like, oh my gosh, he's like so much smaller than Rogan is. And I think those cameras are pretty even.
Yeah, we don't have the standing there hugging picture, the arm around each other picture with it. So anyhow, yeah, you can pull that off, but Kash is a short man.
So he's lying about his height.
Right there, though. Let's go back to the Rogan interview real quick. Did you see how quickly, like we were talking about it yesterday? What side will Rogan come down on? He's friends with Elon. He's trying to be good. He came down on Trump's side immediately, and it seems to me that I thought this was going to be a question where people would have to like ponder, what side do I take? Everything I've seen today, everybody has jumped on the Trump train. Like nobody's still with Elon on this. So
yeah,
that's what I'm seeing. Now, real quick, while we got Kash and Rogan on the show, so the Epstein files, we just talked about it. Kash has said that they've been reviewing all the info. Remember, they were looking straight into the camera, but also looking like they were skitzing out. And they were like, "We've looked at everything. He killed himself. Like we've looked at every piece of info." Okay, so Joe brings up, if you've brought this up on the show before, there is a guy who did an autopsy and said, "Oh, the way that the breaks were in his neck and all that, like it doesn't look like he hung himself." Joe brings that up to Kash. This response is driving the internet crazy right now. Okay, let's watch this real quick.
Did you ever see, do you remember that HBO autopsy show? Dr. Michael Baden, he's a famous forensic scientist. So he's a pathologist, and he reviewed the case, and it was his determination that it was a homicide because of the way his neck was broken. And what he said was it was indicative of a ligature strangulation. And it was because of the positioning on the neck where the marks were, that it wasn't indicative of someone hanging by their weight, which had been higher on the chin. And there's a specific break of the bones and the vertebrae that's consistent with someone who is just strangled to death.
I haven't seen it. I'll definitely take a look at it because that's part of my job.
You haven't seen that?
The report on that? No, I haven't looked at it.
He hasn't looked at the report?
So if you're someone who thinks that he didn't kill himself, that's the main piece of information. Like the main thing you can point at, besides like, oh, why were the cameras down? Why was he in a cell alone? All those things. But like the one fact you can look at is there's someone who does autopsies and is trusted, excuse me, that says this is not consistent with somebody hanging themselves. And Kash said, I'm not familiar with it at all. The man was just on Fox saying that he's reviewed everything. So So the they're not pro-Trump, but the right-wing conspiracy circle. I don't want to call it QAnon. The people that all say that Bill and Hillary definitely killed Epstein. Like those people, they are not buying this, and they are turning on Kash and the FBI, and to some degree the Trump administration. Like there are all kinds of theories flying through Twitter right now. Like Trump must really be on it because clearly Kash did not review all the stuff like he said he did, but they lied to us and they said they did, and they're not going to release it. So anyhow.
Yeah. I mean, what did you expect? I mean, they're just going to cover anything that Trump ever did up, and they're not going to let any of it come out, and it's just going to be
somebody said online that Biden couldn't release it because Bill's in the files, but now Trump can't release it because he's also in the files. So we're not going to get it because, on both sides, which that's kind of the theory is that he wasn't going after just Republicans or Democrats. He was going after everybody, influential people, the theory is that he has recordings of them having sex with underage girls. Like, yeah, he wasn't picking a side. He was trying to sweep up everybody he could for whatever reason. If you believe that theory, which I tend to think that makes sense. I'm of the opinion that he was probably some form of intelligence. It seems like either us or Israel or both makes the most sense.
Okay, Blue on.
I'm just saying we're never going to get that information. Like that's just going to be a fun theory that we're all going to die wondering. I wonder if I was right about that. It's not coming out.
It's not even a fun theory. I mean, it's sex slavery, and
that's true. Yeah, it's not fun.
So bad. Like, there's something. I mean, and the fact that you told that story about how the girl was working at one of Trump's hotels,
Mar-a-Lago,
and they were just like, "Oh, now you're going to go work with him," and like now she's just in the sex slavery industry and being raped by the prince.
Well, she she is on like documentaries on Netflix and stuff, interviewed talking about that, and nobody from Mar-a-Lago or the Trump sphere, nobody's ever come out and said that's not true. And she's been saying that for a while, that she was just told one day that now you work for Jeffrey Epstein, and she went with him.
That's
So
wild.
anyhow, sorry,
I think that the right had it right. The QAnon people had it right, where there was like this giant ring of sex slavery, Pizzagate type of thing going on, but they had it right on the wrong. It wasn't just the left, and now it seems like it's kind of even more on the right.
I don't think that it was like some huge ring. I think that Jeffrey Epstein was running a blackmail operation. Like that makes the most sense to me. I can totally get
Well,
down
it seemed
with
like
that.
Jeffrey Epstein had a huge ring.
Yeah. One.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he had a whole island. He had a whole sex island with underage girls.
And he had
a
lot
plane.
And he had a lot of money that nobody really knew where it came from. And the whole thing where him and William Barr's dad somehow knew each other, and then William Barr was in charge of the prison system when Epstein killed himself, if he did.
Sure.
So, like, there's a lot of connections here. And then on top of that, and I don't know if we've ever played this on the show, but I'm going to play it one more time just because it's the most telling thing in the world. But do you remember when on Fox, right before the election, probably a month or two before the election, they were asking Trump, like, would you declassify the JFK files? Would you declassify the alien files, whatever? And he was like, yes. He was saying yes to everything. And then they get to the Epstein files. Do you remember that clip at all?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm sorry, my mind was going in a different direction. Have you seen Epstein's body? Did you see his dead body?
I remember when they were wheeling it out, the people like zoomed in and got of his face, like as they were wheeling him out of the thing.
Are we sure that was that? Are we sure that he's not like running around the world like
him and
at this point?
Who was it? Oh God, Biggie Smalls and Tupac. Him and Tupac are running around out there, and we just don't know it. Yeah, I don't know. Could be. Watch this.
I'm going full balloon on, bro.
I love it. Watch this real quick. This is going to wrap up my whole Epstein section for the night. But here's Trump on Fox a month or two before the election.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you?
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do.
Yeah, that runs through my mind every once in a while. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, I remember him saying, oh, yeah, he doesn't want to release anything about Epstein.
So that's the most telling thing, that his name's in there. And like I said, I'm not saying that he did anything terrible. Just saying he ran around with Epstein for a period of time. His name's in the reports and so far in the court depositions that we've heard, his name's come up several times. Now, nobody has said yet that actually, there is one girl, and she might be crazy, but there's one girl that claims that, Epstein and Trump raped her together or whatever. But her case, for some reason, has never really gone to court, and I'm wondering if she might just be batshit. I don't know.
Well, hold on. We know that Trump's a sexual predator, right?
He got found guilty of sexual assault in New York.
Okay. And he has how many allegations of sexual assault?
Like 30-something.
34, I think.
And he bragged about walking in on the Miss Teen USA as they were changing and undressing, and bragged about that on Howard
Stern. That was
Stern.
never denied by any Miss Teen USA.
He also had
his ex-wife accused him of raping her.
Yeah, Marla Maples said that, and then that was the one where Rudy Giuliani later, like a couple years ago, said, "Oh, come on, you can't legally rape your wife," and it's like, you can. Also, you got the whole, you grab them by the. So yeah, I mean, he's the most.
And then there's that video that's resurfaced again, where him and Epstein are sitting around at the club, and they're like pointing at the girls, like, "Oh, look at that one over there." Yeah. Like, he's just I think he didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't get into drugs. I think sex was his vice.
He's a powerful man. I think most powerful men are susceptible to a good time, I'll say. And if he wasn't doing it with, here's the thing, if he wasn't doing it with underage girls, and he was just a rich billionaire playboy, I have no problem with that. Even if he wants to be president after doing that, I have no problem with it. What's weird is where you then get like he's the most Christian president we've ever had, and blah blah blah. And it's like he's cheated on every wife he's ever had. The one he's married to now, he cheated on with a porn star while his like kid was a couple months old. I mean,
right.
But that to me,
that encounter seemed a little like forceful too, didn't it?
She said repeatedly that she doesn't want to be like a Me Too person. She's not saying that. Either way, like I said, own it. Just own it. Yeah, you were a billionaire playboy that was getting laid a lot. I got no problem with that. What's weird is now where people try to act like he wouldn't do that. I know he did. He did that a lot. Let's just accept it. So,
you just grab him by the butt.
Yep. Anyhow, to put a bow on Elon real quick, it turns out from a lot of reporting, and I'm not saying this is true, but the official narrative coming out is that Elon was mad about 4 things. He was mad about the EV tax credits going away and most of the Green New Deal. Somebody, a good friend of ours that lives in Austin, even commented on our last video and said, "Oh no, he's said repeatedly that he thinks those credits should go away." He did back in the day. Back in the day when Tesla was doing real good, he said that, and I don't take everything he says at face value. Like, he also said his family never owned an emerald mine in South Africa, but they did, clearly, and we know that. So he likes the whole self-made, I can stand on my own, I don't need government subsidies, but he did say that a lot. But that was a couple of years ago, and Tesla is struggling right now. And apparently most of their money comes from selling like carbon credits or something. I don't even want to act like I got into how this goes, but they get carbon credits and they can sell those to other auto manufacturers, and that's where most of their money's coming from. He's about to lose that ability. That's part of the Green New Deal. He's not going to get that. He even tweeted the other day, he said, it basically said, "Oh, whatever, go ahead and take the EV credits out, although you're leaving them in for oil and gas. Very unfair, blah, blah, blah." So that is irking him a bit. But anyhow, so the EV tax credits, he wanted to stay in the White House, apparently. He was not ready to leave. And when his 120 days were up, Trump said that the other day, like, I made him leave. He was wearing thin. So that's part of it. He wanted Starlink to run the FAA, which we all heard was going to happen. And now it appears that's not going to happen. And that would have been billions of dollars for him. And that's not going to happen. And then also, the guy that he had picked to run NASA is a close buddy of his, and Trump recently pulled that nomination. So it appears it's those 4 things were kind of what set everything up. And also, I think we all missed the very first shot in this fight. Remember a couple weeks ago when Elon tweeted that he's not going to do any more political donations?
Oh, yeah.
I think that was the first warning shot that a lot of people kind of didn't realize was happening, but he was mad because he was like, "Hey, I paid a lot of money to get you elected. Now I get to reap the rewards. Like, now you're going to do things that are good for me." And for whatever reason, Trump's not doing it. I don't think Trump's making a moral stand. I think that oil and gas have more money, and he's like, no, gonna help oil and gas here.
Well, he already got what he's going to get from Elon. Elon's not giving anymore.
Yeah.
Now he's moved on. He gave Elon, he did his little trade out with Elon, and he's like, "Okay, I'm done with you. Go away. I'm moving on to bigger and better things." That's what Trump does, right?
Oh, no, I 100%. Like I said, I don't think it's a moral stand where Trump's like, you can't buy the presidency and get special favors. No, I think Trump's all down with that. But I think that's Elon's butthurt right now because he's like, "Hey, I spent a lot of money, and all I'm asking is for you to put these EV credits in and to give my guy the pick at NASA and the couple other things," and they're not doing it for him, and he's pissed about it. There are still people saying that this is Elon trying to rebrand. Like, since he's leaving the White House, he needs Democrats to start buying Teslas again. This is him like, what better way than to have a big public feud with Trump to show everybody how you've broken up and you're not on his side anymore, so the left will start buying your cars again. Do you think there's any way that's what's happening here?
If he's dumb, I don't think the left's going to go back to him. I think it might keep people to hold on to his cars. Like people who had a Tesla before he was crazy and then like held on to him through here and was like, the people that put the stickers on their car that say like, "I bought this before Elon went nuts" or something.
Yeah.
Those people might like take that sticker off and be like, "Okay, I can drive a Tesla now if he's fighting with Trump."
So the people that are saying that he's doing that, I think, are missing what's happening here. Because again, he's mad that the bill doesn't take away health care from enough people. Like, if he was going out there going, "We need to tax the rich. Like, this deficit's too much, and we need to tax the billionaires," then maybe I'd say, "Oh, wow, he's making a play for the left. He's trying to get back in their good graces." He's not saying that. He's saying, no, cut the taxes, but then also take away health care from poor people. Like, that's what he wants. So I don't. It doesn't make sense at all that he's trying to rebrand back as a lefty. And the right keeps pointing that out. I've been watching Fox News, and they're like, "We better watch out, or the left is going to suddenly start getting his money. They'll take him back in a heartbeat." I don't think the left will take him back in a heartbeat at all. Like,
no.
If anything, they're rooting for him to put a fracture in the MAGA base. Nobody's rooting for him to come back to the left. I feel pretty confident in that.
Yeah, he's a man without a home at this point. That's why he's trying to build his own party.
Yeah. You know what sucks on this though? The big beautiful bill was in legit trouble. Like there was momentum ramping up against it. Party leadership was starting to get worried they might not be able to pass it. And now everything he's done in the last day and a half has made it to where it's way more likely the big beautiful bill is going to pass. Because now he split it into, you have to pick a team. Or if you're not voting for the bill, you must be pro Elon, and Elon is now toxic on the left and on the right. So if somebody says I'm not voting for the bill, Trump can say, "Oh, they're pro Elon Musk," blah 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 blah, and that's no Republican wants to be in that spot right now. They want to all make sure it's very clear to everybody they pick Trump over Elon. So I really think that his stupid actions over the past day and a half are going to help the bill he doesn't want to get passed. I feel strongly about that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yep. So, anyhow, we're gonna watch one last video, and I split this into two for us. But are you familiar with a guy that's doing podcasts now named Scott Galloway? They call him Professor G.
I'm not.
He in the last 5 months, all of a sudden, I heard several people talking about him, and I was like, oh, maybe I should give him a listen. And he's all over the place. He actually runs a podcast that I love. You know the girl on Fox News that's the Democrat? Her name's Jessica Tarlov, I think. And she's the Democrat on the 5 that's always getting her 2 cents in. Dark-haired girl with glasses.
Sorry, I was looking for that video, and then I saw this Thomas Fugate guy.
Oh, we're going there later. Hold on to that.
Okay.
Do you know the girl on Fox News that's on the 5 that's the Democrat? She's the one that's always...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Jessica Tarlov.
So Tarlov, I think. So Scott Galloway and Jessica Tarlov have a podcast together called Raging Moderates. That's actually really good. I would recommend if you're someone who's in the center, listen to that.
Okay.
But Scott Galloway went on Piers Morgan and ripped Elon a new one. Check this out real quick from Piers Morgan.
I don't think you can deny his genius. I'll use Starlink on my flight to London in a couple days, and it's a superior product. I owned a Tesla. But somehow we've decided in America that innovation and money replaces or obviates or excuses depravity. Cutting off aid to HIV positive mothers, deciding what veterans should get benefits, cutting off SNAP payments, which have shown to have a positive net return when people run out of money for food at the end of the month. I mean, I think one of the wonderful things about being an American, and quite frankly, for me, what it means to be a man and what I try to teach my boys is the whole point of prosperity is such that you can protect people. And I think the two of you are more impressed with Mr. Musk than I am.
Kevin O'Leary, at first, I kind of liked Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
When I first got onto him, and I was like, oh, this guy's kind of he's giving some good financial advice. He's kind of fun, whatever. Ever since this last election, I've just despised him so much.
He's become the pro-Trump voice that'll go on any show, and no matter what you throw at him, hey, look at these things that are happening. He just doesn't respond, and he just says what he's here to say, and he's become quite annoying. He's on CNN late at night a lot.
Well, and this is his thing is he's all about making money. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about anything but himself and making money. It's Trump, it's Elon, it's him, it's Kash Patel, all these people are just in this for themselves. And I feel like I have a really good knack for picking those people out. And this whole administration and Kevin O'Leary are.
They're called grifters, and they're easy to spot. Once you realize what's happening, you can see who's grifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think if somebody is making Nazi salutes, if somebody is being sued concurrently by 2 women for sole custody of their child because that person has not spent any time with that child. When someone is so severely addicted to drugs, they can't get their shit together to show up to the White House without looking exceptionally high. I don't think that's the right role model for young men. So what I would ask to all of us is look at what money has done to us. That if someone can land a rocket on metal scissors or create a great AV He's a genius. He's the wealthiest man in the world. But does that mean we should excuse depravity? Does that mean, unlike Bill Gates, he's not using his billions to help people? He's not planting trees, the shade of which he won't sit under? I think this is an individual who has literally come off the tracks, who is rabidly addicted to drugs, and is using his immense power to get people elected, and that too many of us excuse what is abhorrent behavior. I think his legacy is not going to be an EV or putting rockets into space. I think it's going to be unnecessary death, disease, and disability of the world's most vulnerable. That is not what it means to be an innovator. It's not what it means to be an American. It's not what it means to be a man.
Wow.
Okay, I kind of want to finish that out and watch the rest of that later.
Yeah, he left Piers Morgan speechless. I like the guy. Like I said, he's suddenly is all over the scene. Everybody loves Professor G.
Okay.
Anyhow, so that wraps it. I gotta say, 3 years ago really liked Elon Musk. Like I thought what he was doing for humanity was awesome. But at the same time, we both started talking about it at one point where it's like, yeah, like this could go south. Like he's kind of a comic book bad guy, and now I think we're there. Like I don't know that he ever rehabs his image. Like even if right now, if Trump tries to say no, we made up and we're fine, I don't think the right trusts Elon at this point, and the left is never going to trust him again. So
right, the only thing he can do is to kind of salvage some of his image is go to rehab and come out with a completely different viewpoint and try and like get on the Greta Thunberg train.
Yeah.
Thunberg and start like and really like start promoting like
giving away your money,
anti-war. Did you see she's on that ship? Yeah, we talked about that, didn't we?
So it turns out they're alive too. Like they at the last show we were talking about how they'd gone radio silent and there were drones swarming them. They're all good. It turns out they picked up some like refugees that were floating in the middle of the Mediterranean, and they're almost to Gaza right now, which we'll see how that works out. I still think they're
bringing the refugees back to Gaza.
No, they weren't from Gaza. They were from somewhere else.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, they just found some people floating in the middle of the ocean from some other country. I can't remember what it was. I should know, but yeah. Anyhow,
okay.
But the word is that they're probably going to get arrested as soon as they like land in Gaza and then deported out of Israel. So, anyhow, so that's all I got. Professor G, I agree with Elon, evil villain. You know how Trump has a hat that says Trump was right about everything?
Yeah.
I need to get a hat that says Andy was wrong again, because I've been wrong a couple times recently, and I'm here to say I'm wrong again. There's two things that I've told you with great certainty, and I like to never say things with 100% certainty, but I told you that this is not going to work out well for the Palestinians in Gaza. Like there's no happy ending here, and I still stand by that one. But I also told you that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is never coming back to America. He's never leaving that prison in El Salvador. He's the Maryland man. As I'm getting ready for the show tonight, I just kind of look over at my TV, and I could not believe the headline. Check this out real quick. I can't even remember what channel this is from, but check this out real quick.
Abrego Garcia has landed in the United States to face justice. On May 21st, a grand jury in the Middle District of Tennessee returned a sealed indictment charging Abrego Garcia with alien smuggling and conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324. We want to thank President Bukele for agreeing to return Abrego Garcia to the United States. Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like.
Oh, so now they're taking credit for American justice.
So that's the first thing we got to address here. This is what American justice looks like. No, this is the exact opposite. You arrest a guy and deport him to another country for a couple months, and then you send it through the courts and you bring him back to face trial.
Only because of pressure. Because you were pressured to do it.
This is exactly 100% not how American justice is supposed to work. So that line right there is laughable. Now, this whole time I've been saying, and luckily a lot of the Democrats have been making this clear, like we're not saying he's innocent. We're saying he did not get due process. Like if you think he did all these things, then give him a court date and get him a lawyer and let's see what happens. And at this point, if he gets found guilty of whatever and deported, I don't really care at this point. He got his due process, which was all anybody was upset about. Now, what they're hitting him with is alien smuggling, basically. And it turns out they probably have a good case on this because while he was in El Salvador, they found a video of him from 2022 where he got pulled over in like Tennessee, and he was driving a van full of a lot of what appeared to be illegal immigrants. I don't know if we know for sure that they were, but he was driving it. And at the time, they let him go. They didn't charge him with anything.
Didn't they find him in front of a Home Depot? Isn't that where they arrested him?
That's where they found him this most recent time, I believe.
So he's just been working job site to he's been going job site to job site, like kind of a Home Depot guy.
Here's the thing. In order to convict him here, all they have to do is prove that, that he knew that the people in the car with him were illegal and that he crossed state lines. That's all they have to prove. And then that's smuggling illegal immigrants or whatever. So that's a felony. He could go away for a long time. If they can prove that, fine. Apparently, they have co-conspirators, which means they got somebody that they probably already had in detention to agree that they're going to go in front of a judge and say, yeah, he's MS-13, blah, blah, blah. That's going to be a little, I'm already thinking that's a little fishy. Like, I want to know, what's the connection here? Like, are
they letting anybody in the country right now?
You can come visit. No, we let like 67 people from South Africa, the white Afrikaners. We let them in.
Oh, and if you have $5 million, you can get in.
Yeah, you can get in if you have $5 million.
But like, we're not taking any asylum seekers or anything like that, right?
I don't think so. I mean, we canceled it. We canceled the temporary protective status for almost every group, even Cubans recently, which apparently in Florida, the Cubans voted for Trump, and that's part of what put him over the edge. And now all the Cubans in Florida are pissed. Haitians too, Dominicans, they're all not happy. Anyhow, I'm pleased right now. I'm pleased to be wrong. He's back in the U.S. He's going to get a lawyer. He's going to get to prove his case. If he's found guilty, then screw him and deport him, do whatever. But that's the steps that need to be taken. I hope now, we have that whole, the gay hairdresser from Miami who's in El Salvador. Get him back, get him a lawyer. Here's the thing. At the very worst, they're going to deport him back to El Salvador, and he's not going to go to that prison like that at the end of this. He'll spend prison time in America probably, and then once he gets out, they'll deport him immediately. But he'll go to El Salvador and not be in that damn torture prison. So
didn't he come from El Salvador?
He did. He's from there originally.
But I thought in his terms for citizenship or whatever, it said that he could not be returned to El Salvador.
He did, because he was able to establish in front of a judge that he had a credible fear. But they can always get that overturned. I think that they'll find the right judge to get that overturned. He'll go back. So
okay, so he's gonna die. He's gonna die in El Salvador.
But hopefully he'll die not in prison in El Salvador, which Plus, if they send him to El Salvador, he can get the hell out of that country. He can go somewhere else, wherever he can afford to go. Plus, if he goes to jail first, we'll all forget about this. But let's say that his court case happens the next year, and then they deport him to El Salvador. I'll bet there'll be some lefty groups that'll put together GoFundMe's to get him money, to go to a different country. Something tells me.
I hope so. Yeah.
Something tells me he'll get taken care of. So I'll say this. In her speaking indictment is what they call it today, where she was kind of reading the case against him. She brought up a lot of other stuff. She brought up firearm charges, domestic abuse, and that he was a co-conspirator to murder, but he wasn't charged with any of that stuff. So apparently he has a really good case for what they call a wrongful prosecution, I guess, deal. Because of all the stuff they've been saying about him, and then the way that Bondi handled that today, where she listed a lot of stuff. Normally you don't say stuff you're not going to accuse them of, basically, and she didn't.
Right.
So I don't know what that means. He'll probably still go to jail. If he's guilty, I'm expecting him to go to jail. That's the way it should work. If it turns out they don't have any evidence and a jury finds him innocent, then they're probably still going to deport him, but he just won't go to jail. That's probably what we're looking at. So anyhow, happy to be wrong. All right, so there's a crypto bill working its way through the Senate right now. Have you heard anything about this crypto bill?
No, I haven't.
So I don't know a lot about it, but I know that they just saw today that there was language that was just inserted, I guess, in the last couple of days. I don't know a lot about crypto, but this says that banks must prioritize remunerating. I thought it was remunerating, but apparently that's right. Remunerating. I don't know what that means. Crypto investors over depositors. What this basically means, smart people broke it down for me. If a bank goes bankrupt, they have to first make sure and give all the crypto people their money before they worry about people with cash. So they could use the money out of our savings accounts to make everything whole with the crypto people. And if they waste all of our money doing that, and then there's nothing left for us, we're just screwed. So it prioritizes. If a bank goes bankrupt, they got to prioritize crypto holdings over cash holdings.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't at all. But so you know why that's in there? Because there's a lot of crypto investors with a lot of money that are greasing the pockets of the senators. So that the senators didn't come up with that on their own. Crypto investors went to them and said, "Hey, here's what we'd like. By the way, let me donate to your reelection fund."
Oh my gosh. What is going on with our world?
So anyhow, so just know and I didn't think like Bank of America and Wells Fargo, and I didn't think they really did much in crypto, but apparently that's coming. So anyhow, they're gonna hold crypto holdings for it. I don't know how crypto works. I thought it's all digital. Why does a bank need to hold it? I don't get it. Maybe for security, like to make sure that it doesn't get stolen. I guess does that make sense?
Say that one more time. I'm trying to figure out what you're.
Why would a bank need to hold crypto holdings? Why isn't it all digital? Don't you have a crypto wallet? Like, is there a reason to deposit your crypto with a bank? Would you do it for security reasons?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they have to back up. Well, hold on. A bank shouldn't even have any crypto unless they're investing in crypto.
Do you know anybody that knows a lot about crypto? Because I'd love to have somebody on that can explain crypto.
Unless they're calling like Coinbase a bank.
I don't know. I can't remember. I didn't see it. It said crypto every time
I don't know. If you got any information on this, chime in, people.
Yeah, I'd love to figure out what that's all about. So I
why would the bank have crypto unless it's just an investment from the bank, right?
That's the part I didn't even try to figure it out, but that was bothering me ever since I saw it. It's like, why would you deposit your crypto for a bank to hold? I thought there's an online digital wallet where your crypto is. I must be wrong on that. Maybe it's for security because people can steal crypto. Maybe if you give it to a bank, then it's secure.
But they get paid out first.
Yeah, they get paid. If the bank goes bankrupt, they get made whole first, and then if there's any money left, it goes to us.
Are they anticipating banks to go bankrupt?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like if the economy is bad enough that the government would either have to bail them out or let them go bankrupt. So.
Well, there's the FDIC insured, which is like up to $250,000, right? So the FDIC,
yeah.
FDIC.
We're getting way out of my league here. I don't know anything about all
this. Yeah. I'm very novice in this stuff, but
do you want to hear good news? I have good news tonight, okay?
I would love to hear some good news.
Yeah. So for all the things negative you could say about the Trump administration, like if there's one thing we all can agree on, it's that he's keeping our country safe. Safer than any Democrat would. He's got the borders closed down. We're keeping our eye on all the terrorists everywhere. Like, don't you feel safer when Trump's in office? No. If you don't already, this is gonna soothe you here. Okay. I got a picture I need you to pull up. This is a young man named Thomas Fugate or Fugate. I'm gonna say Fugate because it sounds right.
Fugate. I like Thomas Fugate. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, this guy's picture just makes me giggle. And he's not an ugly man. It's the look. Do you know who Sebastian Gorka is?
Yeah.
For some reason, I feel like this is a Sebastian Gorka protege. I could be wrong. So this is Mr. Thomas Fugate. First of all, his look is impressive. The eyebrow, the stare. I don't know why I read Sebastian Gorka protege here. Take a guess how old Mr. Fugate is.
16.
22 years old. 22 years old. His employment experience is that he was an ex-gardener, and then he was also a grocery store clerk.
Okay.
He did graduate magna cum laude from UT San Antonio with a degree in politics. While in college, he interned at the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation, I don't think we've spent a lot of time talking about it, but they do a great job of staying out of the spotlight while at the same time, like they are like a breeding ground for all the young staffers and interns that work in Republican administrations. Like that's where they go to learn. Anyhow, this guy, sorry, I love this. When he graduated, he left the Heritage Foundation and went to work for Donald Trump's campaign. He was part of the advance team for his rallies. And then when Trump got elected in February, he was hired as a special assistant at an immigration office. He got promoted this week. This man, this 22-year-old with no government experience that has been an intern and then worked on a campaign, is the head of Counter Terrorism for HHS.
What?
He is the head of Counter Terrorism for HHS. 22 years old, ex-gardener, ex-grocery store clerk, just graduated college. Graduated with magna cum laude, so he was smart with politics. And he's a
How do you go straight to being the head of...
They said that it was because of his impressive work and attitude or something along those lines. Like, I didn't pull a direct quote.
Oh my gosh, terrorists are looking at him going, yes.
The head of counterterrorism for Homeland Security, 22-year-old Thomas Fugate. I don't know what his name is.
Oh,
I'm going to sleep better tonight knowing that this man is... counterterrorism is kind of a big thing. Like, that's something where you would hope we have somebody with experience. I don't know. The only reason the only reason the job was opening is he was one of the former head of counterterrorism was one of the many people that Elon and Trump came in and axed right away. So we haven't had anybody in that role for a couple months, and then it appears that they hit a point where they're like, "Hey, we got to put somebody in this job. We haven't had a head of counterterrorism for months now." So they put a 22-year-old in charge.
How old was the other guy?
I don't have any clue. I don't know who the boss was before then. It would have been whoever Biden had in place.
Oh, okay. So they're just replacing him. So it was probably a guy who had like 30 years of terrorism experience under his belt.
I'm going to guess it was somebody who had experience under his belt. I would like to think that it was probably a former FBI officer or something in the military, you would think. I don't know. Head of counterterrorism seems like an important role.
Yeah. I mean, we're like, if you just look at our lineup, like we're like
who's running things in the White House and in the government right now?
Yeah, if you look at it like the baseball team, like we're an O in like how many games do they play?
Yeah. So
we're losing. We're losing big time.
It's not going good. So I told you that good news though, because I wanted you to sleep good at night, knowing that we have the brightest and the best. At least we don't have DEI. Docs, what if that was a black woman? Think how scary that would be. That would be so scary. It's this guy. We're good. He's a white male. He's 22.
At least he's a white male.
what it comes down to is he probably is very much a yes man. Like whenever Trump says jump, he says how high. The guy's probably been kissing ass, and Trump's like, I like this kid. This kid's going places. Where can we put him? So I know where we can put him, sir. We've had this pesky job opening as the head of counterterrorism for HHS. Why don't we give him that?
Let's give him that job. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh. We're a laughing stock. I'm laughing at our own country and our decisions.
I think that one made me giggle today. I don't know. And then the only other thing I have on the rundown for us tonight. So we had the Boulder terrorist attack last week with the guy with the homemade flamethrower or Windex bottle, depending on how you look at it. The Senate is preparing a resolution that will be a condemnation. They're going to condemn that attack. And those pass all the time, okay?
Sure.
Now, every now and then, both sides are guilty of this. They try to sneak in a little bit of extra stuff that they're going to try to, if you don't vote for it, they're going to go, he didn't vote to condemn the terrorist attack. But it's like, no, there was something else you slid in. The thing they're sliding into this one, they're trying to make the phrase free Palestine a hate speech.
Oh, no.
Yes. So that's officially part of this, is that if you say free Palestine, that is hate speech against Jewish people. And
that's the title of this podcast right here is Free Palestine. Let's go.
Dude, we'll get on a list so quick. We probably shouldn't even say that. So anyhow, that's going on. Did you see, and I didn't do the homework on this, so I apologize for even bringing it up when I'm not ready. But Crystal and Ryan Grimm on Breaking Points, one of them broke this story, but apparently Israel has been paying ISIS, okay? To you know how they keep saying, at all these food distribution sites, Hamas is stealing all the food. Apparently it's ISIS doing it, and Israel is funding them to do that, to make it look like, hey, we're trying to give them food, but Hamas keeps showing up and we have to shoot everybody. That's ISIS. and not that they're funding them and getting them into Gaza to do it. And then apparently it turns out they've been paying ISIS for quite a while. They were paying ISIS in Syria because it's one of those, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So ISIS was fighting against the group they didn't like in Syria, so they started funding them with weapons and stuff. And then also in Yemen, there's like 3 different groups in Yemen. There's the Houthi rebels, there's the what used to be the old government, and then there's ISIS on like the eastern side of the country. And they've been funding ISIS in Yemen, Syria, and now in Gaza. And in Gaza, it's basically a false flag operation. They're trying to get them to stir up trouble so that they can go in and kill everybody. It works good for them. So that got broke 2 days ago, and nobody's really talking about it. So that's the only reason where I'm like, I need to look into this. I trust Ryan Grimm. That guy runs Drop Site News, and he's seemed to be on the ball with everything. But at the same time, like, why isn't the rest of the media picking this up? Is it because they're all so pro-Israel, or is this maybe not fully reported out yet? Maybe they're waiting on some confirmation and it's not official. That
it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, Israel at this point, I feel like Israel is a tarnished nation. I feel like they're a corrupt, tarnished nation.
It's hard. I really want to find somebody, and I got plenty of them up here in Oklahoma that are just, I want to find a Christian conservative that doesn't really pay attention a whole lot, but that they're like, oh, I'm 100% behind Israel in this. And then I just want to like be like, hey, would you be willing to watch some things on my phone? Can I show you some things? Can I show you some stories, some videos, whatever, and just see if they're open to being like, oh, wow, I didn't know. I didn't know this was happening. Maybe
Are you going to show them like the videos of babies being shot in the head?
The 5-year-old boys that weigh 28 pounds, all that stuff that are getting starved to death. Like Hamas is a terrible organization and they should be gone. But you also can't starve an entire population, women and children. You can't starve them to death to try to get Hamas. Like that's not
entire like how many million?
There was 2.1 million, and now there's 1.5. I think is what we saw. So, and we were talking about the meals last week. Basically, they were getting enough meals in for everybody in Gaza to have 3 meals a week. Every individual person gets 3 meals a week, and these meals are they're not a meal. It's like a protein.
Wait,
calorie
hold on.
box.
How many shipments have they had?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
So the first shipment, I thought they only had that one shipment, right?
Well, that's what the schedule they're trying to be on right now is get enough meals in there to where they can have every person have 3 meals a week. That's what they're trying to do. And these meals are apparently like, it's not like food like we think about it. It's just calories, protein, and carbs, I guess. Yeah, like what
peanut
you need
butter.
To survive. They're called. There's a name for them, and they're called like basic nutrition meals or something like that. And it's just enough to where you won't die, pretty much. That's what they're trying to do. So, yeah. Everything's good, buddy. So anyhow, I talked a lot tonight. You got anything that I didn't cover that you want to talk about?
I think you got it all, man. There was a lot.
It's amazing what happens when I have time to prepare. I'm normally doing this like on the fly, and my ladies are out seeing Wicked, the musical, tonight. And so it gave me like 4 hours to sit here and think up what we're going to talk about. I wish I had that amount of time every show to devote to it. So I'll have to figure that out. So
nice. Yeah. I feel like it was a solid episode.
I like it. So anyway, I appreciate it. I look forward to recording with you again soon. Let's do a final prediction here. What are the percentage chances that you think we get through the weekend without Trump lowering himself and shit tweeting or shit truthing towards Elon?
I think he's done. I don't think he's going to do it.
You don't? So 0%. Trump's going to take the high road this whole way.
I'll give it a 95% chance that Elon keeps going and going and going. Unless Elon really goes overboard and says something, I don't think Trump's going to give in. I think I don't know. No, I can't. I don't know if I can say that.
I'm going to say 75% chance that he continues to take the high road. 25% chance that he wakes up Sunday and just goes on a tweet storm or a truth storm, whatever you want to call it.
But he's got to be provoked. Elon's going to have to say something to provoke him, right? Because I think right now, like, Trump's like, I won this. I'm good. Elon's off. I won. Elon's still going crazy in the corner. He's going to get buried on one of my golf courses later this year. Yeah. Like,
the thing is, I want to see Elon. Like, something tells me right now, if Elon wanted to go on a show, go on it, like be interviewed on TV, podcast, whatever, there's a lot of people that would be more than happy to have him. I think Rogan wouldn't do it right now. Based off Rogan's response, I think he would tell him, hey, man, you need to chill, you need to breathe, you need to calm down, and then I'll have you on later, but not right now. But I think there's other people just want the ratings. He'll go on any CNN, News Nation, Fox News, any of them would have him. Maybe not Fox News.
I'd like to see him on Midas Touch.
He's not going on there.
But I only want to see this if he has something. Like if he has something, like if he drops another truth bomb, another bomb, Epstein, if he has like proof of Trump and Epstein, or he has like something that Trump did, or receipts or tax returns or something, he's got to have something. Does he have that? That's the question. That's the whole game right there.
I think right now it appears that people have convinced him to stop attacking Trump personally and just talk about your differences with the big beautiful bill. So like that's all he's been doing for the last 18 hours, and I think that's what he's going to continue doing all weekend and all next week, is just talking about America's debt and how this is a terrible bill. But you're right, if he starts to do some low blows on Trump again, then I think we could hear from Trump. But I just don't know if he's going to do that. So, and I think that everybody he knows is probably telling him to fucking stop it, dude. Stop doing this. So I wonder how fast after Kash Patel left Joe Rogan show was Joe either calling or texting Elon, telling him like, what the fuck, dude? You got to stop. Like, stop right now.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what would be great? I didn't think about this till just now, but on the show, Joe immediately took Elon's side and was like, man, he needs to stop. Somebody needs to take his phone. I think that Twitter's bad for your brain, which we didn't say this. The reason that Elon bought Twitter is because of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan said on his show that he told Elon, hey, you should buy Twitter. And then Elon really did it. Like, Joe broke Elon. I'm sorry to break it to you, but Joe broke Elon's brain. He didn't do it himself, but he pointed Elon in the right direction. But
which was weed. I mean, I guess marijuana is the gateway drug.
It was getting in right-wing Twitter circles. Like that's he started tweeting stuff and people liked it and he liked it. He said many times, I'm really good at Twitter, because he was getting engagement.
Well, hold on. Yeah. This is the thing, is he had the money, but he didn't have the power. And then he saw, when he went on Rogan that first time and smoked weed, he saw how much love and respect and admiration he got from it, right? And how much he probably never really got much what do you call it? When just people looking at him, right? He didn't have a lot of eyes on him. He was kind of doing everything in this dark little corner.
Yeah.
But right after he smoked weed, like he went on CNN, or not CNN, SNL. He went on SNL.
Okay.
He started doing podcasts.
He bombed on SNL. Now, what happened is Rogan made him cool. Rogan tried to make Elon cool. Up until Rogan, Elon wasn't cool. And then Elon started getting a little overconfident. He's on stage with Dave Chappelle like 6 months later, and the crowd's cheering for him. Like suddenly he got cool, and he liked that. He liked everybody liking him. And that's where we're at right now, is Elon and Trump might have the two biggest egos in the world. Like, and it's going to take one of them kind of backing down, and I don't see either of them doing.
They're both in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah. No, I stick with 75% chance Trump can. And also, I think Trump is now seeing that it's working. If they convinced him to do this high road thing, I think he's seeing that, oh wow, this is I'm the nice guy. People like the fact that I'm keeping out of the mud, but I'm also just little jabs like, oh, poor Elon. I hope he's okay. I'll be praying for him. Like that whole attitude, like that's keep doing that, and that will drive Elon batshit crazy. Do you think Elon ever turns on Joe? Because when Joe said that on the show, that came out today. I'm curious. I was kind of waiting to see if Elon was like, Twitter didn't break my brain, blah, blah, blah. Can I kind of respond to Joe through Twitter? You think there's ever a point that breakup happens?
Probably. If Joe keeps going on the Trump train. What train are you on? Who do you want to win this?
So in this, what I would love the most is if Elon does his America Party and if he fractures 7% of Republican voters onto his new party, then that would make it really hard for them to win general elections, and I think that'd be awesome. Who do I think is handling the best right now? Trump, hands down. Trump is definitely handling this in a way better way. Who's right? I gotta say, Elon's making great points about the big beautiful bill and how it's gonna, the whole thing is Republicans say the debt's out of control. We got to get it under control, and they're not doing that at all. In fact, they're inflating the deficit and debt. So
we both just kind of want both of them to lose at this, right?
Yeah, I would have liked it better if Trump would have gone into mud and they would have just destroyed each other. But Trump's not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Elon's correct on the facts. Trump's correct on how he's handling this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. I'm not rooting for either of them, but I'm impressed. I got to say it one more time. I'm impressed with Donald Trump and how he's handled this. I don't give him compliments ever. I didn't think there was any way he wouldn't punch back, but he didn't. So
he didn't. Yeah. I mean, okay.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Have a good weekend, and I look forward to talking to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, you too. Like, subscribe, leave a comment.
Comment. Yes, I responded to a comment for us the other day. Normally you do all the responding. I think it's going to be real clear when you respond versus when I respond, just based off what's said. My thought.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So, all right. Talk to you later, buddy.
All right. Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar. Sometimes the bar eats you.